to the International Business and Law Academy. I'm Ruby, and today we'll be discussing the Single European Act, the removal of barriers, and the principle of subsidiaries. We will now discuss the case of Railway Central and Bundesmonopolverwalten. In the case of Railway Central and Bundesmonopolverwalten, Railway Central AG attempted to import alcoholic beverages from France to resell to Germany. They were then informed by German authorities that one of their liquor could not be sold due to a law requiring that all liquors have to have a content of at least 32%, while railways only contain a content 15 to 20%. Railway then argued that the German court constituted an illegal restriction on the free flow of goods within the European community. Germany claimed its minimum alcohol content regulation was necessary to protect the public health and to defend consumers from unfair practices. The German court asked the European Court of Justice to provide a preliminary ruling as to the legality of the German regulation. So the issue here is, does the German law unlawfully restrict the free movement of goods within the European community? John, please start our discussion.
We know for one thing that the restriction was placed in order to look out for public health concerns.
Yeah. And what would that health concern be?
Exactly, Turin.
If I may interrupt, I think the public health concern here is that in Germany, those who drink low alcoholic beverage are more likely to induce a tolerance.
Yes.
However, it is not that persuasive to me, since consumers can obtain other wide range of lower alcoholic products on the market.
That's a great point to challenge, Anne. But any other ideas?
And not to mention the high alcohol contents beverage freely sold on the German market are generally consumed in like a diluted form. So I think it would interfere with the ensuring all liquors to have an alcohol content of at least 32%.
Thank you for that insightful discussion. And when assembling the comments together, it is ruled that yes, the German law unlawfully restricted the free movement of Railway Central's goods. Due to the restrictions that was placed, it was necessary to protect the public health because alcohol beverages with a low alcohol content were more likely to induce a tolerance toward alcohol than higher alcoholic beverages. This is as seen through technical barrier. But Anne, what is the principle of subsidiary?
As Denmark finally adopted the treaty in a new referendum under the principle of subsidiary, the European Commission institutions are not to deal with issues that can be better handled at the member state level. Thus, in the absence of the European Community ruling related to the production and marketing of alcohol, Germany may regulate all matters of their own territory.
And Turin, can you explain to us the theory of removal of barriers?
The removal of barrier involves a technical barrier and physical barriers. The technical barrier will be efficiently dismantled when the EC successfully harmonized about the nation's health and safe regulation and product standards.
Yes, and in removing fiscal barriers, the European Commission aimed at eliminating the different rates of taxation among the member states and the collection of tariffs at the national borders. Therefore, Germany argued that setting a minimum limit on alcohol content would protect consumers from unfair practices by distributors. Because of the high taxation rate on alcohol, a lower alcohol content gives the beverages a competitive advantage over a higher alcohol content. And finally, John, can you please conclude us with the theory of the Single European Act?
So to remove the barriers to create an internal market, in 1987, the original treaties were amended by the Single European Act, or Single European Act sets a target date of December 3rd, 1992. It's officially renamed the Assembly as the the European Parliament.
Oh, yes. And adding on to the case, however, this interest could be protected in a less restrictive manner simply by requiring the display of an indication of origin and the alcohol content on the packaging of products. And it is clear that under German regulation, it does not serve a purpose that it is in the general interest, so as to take precedent over the fundamental requirements of the free movement of goods. And in practice, the principal effect of this legislation is to promote alcoholic beverages having a high alcohol content by excluding from the German market products and from other member states that do not meet that standard. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Søren and the International Business and Law Academy.